What if I told you that one simple meal, eaten just a few times a week, could help your arteries become more flexible, help blood flow more freely, and support your heart without extreme diets or expensive supplements? And what if I told you most people over 60 have never been told about this meal by their doctor? Not because it doesn't work, but because it sounds too simple. If you're over 60, if you've ever been told your cholesterol is a little high, if you worry about heart attacks, strokes, or clogged arteries, then stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this meal is, why science supports it, and how to eat it safely and enjoyably at your age. And no, this isn't a fad diet. It's food your grandparents would recognize. Let's talk honestly for a moment. As we age, our arteries naturally change. They don't stay as soft and elastic as they once were. Over time, fatty deposits build up. Inflammation increases. Blood vessels stiffen. Blood flow slows down. This process is called atherosclerosis, and it doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, year after year. That's why many people feel fine right up until the day they don't. But here's the hopeful part. Food can influence this process. Not magically, not instantly, but consistently. And researchers have found that certain meals don't just avoid harm. They actively support artery health. Most heart health advice starts the same way. It sounds like a list of punishments. Stop eating this. Never eat that again. Cut out everything you enjoy. And if you're over 60, you've probably heard this for decades. Every doctor visit, every article, every worried family member, it all seems to say the same thing. Your favorite foods are the problem. But here's the truth most people won't say out loud. That kind of advice doesn't work long term, especially after 60. Not because you lack willpower, not because you don't care, but because food is more than fuel. It's comfort, it's routine, it's memory. And asking someone to give up everything familiar at this stage of life doesn't lead to better health. It leads to frustration, guilt, and eventually giving up. Now here's the good news. Real heart health doesn't start with taking food away. It starts with adding the right foods. Foods that work with your body, not against it. Foods that support your arteries quietly, consistently. Foods that come together in the right combinations so your body actually knows what to do with them. And most importantly, foods that feel satisfying, comforting, and familiar, not strange or extreme. That's the approach that works after 60. And that brings us to the meal. Now let's talk about the meal. The number one meal shown to support healthier arteries isn't something exotic. It's not trendy. And it's definitely not something you'd only find at a fancy restaurant. It's a Mediterranean-style salmon and vegetable bowl finished with a little olive oil. And before you think, that sounds complicated, or that's probably expensive, stay with me for just a moment. This is simple food. Food you can find at almost any grocery store. Food people in some of the healthiest, longest living parts of the world have been eating for generations. In fact, this meal, or variations of it, is one of the most studied heart-supportive meals on the planet. Not because it's flashy, but because it works quietly, consistently, and gently. Exactly what aging arteries respond best to. So let's slow down and break down why this specific meal works and why it matters so much after 60. So why does this meal work? Let's start with the salmon. Fatty fish like salmon are rich in something called omega-3 fatty acids. And this is where real science steps in. Over the years, researchers have consistently found that omega-3s help calm inflammation inside your blood vessels. And inflammation is one of the main reasons arteries become stiff and damaged as we age. Omega-3s have also been shown to help lower triglycerides, which are a type of fat in the blood that can quietly contribute to artery problems when levels get too high. But here's something especially important after 60. Omega-3s help arteries stay more flexible. Instead of becoming hard and brittle, blood vessels are better able to expand and relax as blood flows through them. Now, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Omega-3s don't act like a pipe cleaner that scrapes plaque off artery walls. That's not how the body works. What they do help with is making plaque less unstable and less likely to rupture. And that's a big deal, because plaque rupture is one of the main triggers for heart attacks. So while this isn't a miracle cure, it is powerful support. It helps slow the problem, reduce risk, and encourage healthier blood flow over time. And for seniors, that steady, gentle support is exactly what the heart needs. Now let's talk about the vegetables, because they're just as important as the fish. Think about the kinds of vegetables your body recognizes right away. Leafy greens, tomatoes, colorful peppers, broccoli, onions. Nothing strange, nothing exotic. These vegetables are naturally rich in fiber, antioxidants, and in the case of leafy greens, natural nitrates. Fiber plays a quiet but powerful role in heart health. It helps your body remove excess LDL cholesterol before it has a chance to settle where it doesn't belong. Antioxidants do something just as important. They help reduce oxidative stress, a kind of internal wear and tear that slowly damages artery walls over time. And those natural nitrates found in leafy greens, your body converts them into compounds that help blood vessels relax and open, making it easier for blood to flow. So when you fill your plate with these vegetables, you're not just adding color. You're giving your arteries the tools they need to stay calmer, clearer, and more resilient, especially as the years go by. Now let's talk about the olive oil, because this is where something special happens. Not butter, not margarine, not heavy sauces. Extra virgin olive oil. High-quality olive oil is rich in natural plant compounds called polyphenol. You don't need to remember the word. What matters is what they do. Polyphenol help calm inflammation inside your body, including inside your blood vessels. They also support the health of the inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium. When this lining is healthy, arteries are better able to relax and respond to blood flow, something that becomes more important with age. And here's another key benefit. Regular use of olive oil helps support a healthier balance of cholesterol, not by forcing numbers down overnight, but by improving how cholesterol behaves in the body. This isn't new science. Large, long-term studies of Mediterranean populations, people who've used olive oil as their main fat for generations, consistently show lower rates of heart disease and better cardiovascular health overall. So when you drizzle olive oil over this meal, you're not adding indulgence. You're adding protection. Here's something most people don't realize. It's not just the foods, it's how they work together. Healthy fats help your body absorb antioxidants from vegetables. Fiber slows sugar absorption. Omega-3s calm inflammation. This is food synergy. Let's clear up confusion. This meal is not keto, vegan, a low-fat, extreme, depriving. It's balanced. It's satisfying. And it supports your body as it is now, not as it was at 30. You don't need to eat this every day. Most research suggests 2 to 3 times per week is enough to see benefits. Consistency matters more than perfection. Even replacing one processed meal with this can make a difference over time. Let's be honest, because trust matters. This meal supports artery health, helps slow plaque progression, improves cholesterol markers, reduces inflammation, but it does not replace prescribed medication, reverse decades of damage overnight. Think of it like physical therapy for your arteries, gentle, steady, and effective over time. Common questions from people over 60. What if I don't like salmon? That's okay. You can substitute. Sardines, mackerel, trout, even conversions are fine. Just rinse excess sodium. What if I'm on cholesterol medication? This meal is generally considered supportive, not conflicting. But always, keep taking your prescribed medication. Use food as an addition, not a replacement. Talk to your doctor if unsure. What about cost? Frozen fish is just as nutritious. Seasonal vegetables save money. Olive oil lasts a long time. Heart health doesn't have to be expensive. As we age, digestion slows. Muscle mass decreases. Inflammation increases. This meal is easy to digest, anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense, gentle on blood sugar. That's why it works so well for seniors. One important thing to keep in mind: even the best meal can lose its power if it's paired with the wrong extras. Sugary drinks, for example, cause a quick spike in blood sugar and insulin, which can temporarily stress your blood vessels and work against the calming effect this meal is meant to have. White bread does something similar. It breaks down quickly into sugar, and over time, that repeated surge can contribute to inflammation inside the arteries. Fried side dishes add damaged fats and excess calories that the body struggles to handle as easily with age, especially when artery health is already a concern. And heavy desserts, while comforting in the moment, can undo much of the good by increasing blood sugar, triglycerides, and inflammation all at once. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy these foods again. It simply means that when you're eating this heart-supportive meal, let it do what it's meant to do. Keep the plate clean. Keep the drink simple, water or unsweetened tea, and allow the meal to work in your favor. Sometimes, heart health isn't about adding more rules. It's about removing the few things that get in the way. Picture this: a warm piece of baked salmon, drizzled with olive oil and lemon, surrounded by colorful vegetables, a small portion of whole grains if desired. No stress, no guilt, just nourishment. You might be wondering something at this point. If this meal is so helpful, why hasn't my doctor talked about it more? The answer is simpler than most people think. Doctors are trained to diagnose and treat disease. They're experts in medications, procedures, and test results. But most doctors receive very little training in nutrition, and even less time to talk about it. In a typical appointment, nutrition might get 30 seconds, if that. That doesn't mean food isn't powerful, and it doesn't mean your doctor doesn't care. It simply means the healthcare system isn't designed to guide people through everyday meals. That part falls to you. And the good news is, you don't need to become a nutrition expert or follow complicated rules. You just need a few solid, science-backed choices that you can repeat consistently. This meal is one of them. So what actually happens after a few weeks of eating this way? For many people, the changes are subtle at first, but meaningful. You might notice you have more steady energy throughout the day, not the highs and crashes that come with heavier or sugary meals. Some people notice less bloating and a calmer, more comfortable digestion, especially when meals are simpler and less processed. At your next checkup, there's a good chance your lab numbers start moving in the right direction: cholesterol, triglycerides, or markers of inflammation. But one of the most important changes doesn't show up on a test. It's confidence. Confidence in knowing what to eat. Confidence that you're doing something supportive for your heart. Confidence that food doesn't have to feel confusing anymore. And that's how real progress happens. Not through big, dramatic changes, but through small, repeatable choices that add up over time. If you're over 60, your body is not broken. It's wiser. It responds better to gentler care. And it still knows how to heal when given the right tools. This meal is one of those tools. Not a miracle, not a promise, just science-supported nourishment served one plate at a time. If this helped you, like the video so more seniors can see it. Subscribe for simple, honest health guidance. And comment, I'm starting this week. Because the best time to support your heart isn't 20 years ago. It's today.